They'll wave to their fans one last time pre-kickoff in this magnificent campaign. Will we ever see the like of this again, I wonder? Let's check on the two sides for you then. Arsenal make two changes for this historic game. Dennis Bergkamp, who's just signed a new deal to stay here next year, is recalled in place of Jose Antonio Reyes, and Gilberto has recovered from injury to reclaim his place in midfield at the expense of Ray Parlour. Martin Keown, who's on the bench, needs to come on to get a championship medal. As for Leicester City, as if going down wasn't enough, they've got all sorts of injury problems. Top scorer Les Ferdinand is missing. He had a knee operation this week. And Muzzy Izzet misses what would have been his last Leicester game before being sold this summer. He's got a hamstring injury. Steve Guppy's dropped, so there are places for Stefan Freund and Lilian Nallis. Away we go. Arsenal in search of history. At home to Leicester City. And worth remembering that the Manchester Uniteds of Busby and Ferguson couldn't do it. Not the Liverpool sides of Shankly, Paisley, Fagan and Dalglish. The Leeds of Don Revie. The Forest of Brian Clough. The Spurs of Bill Nicholson. And previous Arsenal sides of Herbert Chapman, Bertie Mee and George Graham. None of them could go through a season unbeaten. But this team for Arsene Wenger can do it. And Ljungberg, was there a little pull there? Paul Durkin says no. Lauren thought he was getting pulled as he made his way into the penalty area. Big decision straight away for Paul Durkin in his last game. Is Gilberto back in the side today, having recovered from injury. And Paul Dickoff, who will not give up the fight. Doesn't matter whether Leicester are relegated. Leicester fancy themselves to be the party poopers here. They are a fighting side, and they did win last week, 3-1 at home to Portsmouth. And worth remembering too that Leicester make another £1 million in prize money if they hold on to 18th position rather than slipping to 20th. They're level on points with the other two relegated sides, Leeds and Wolverhampton Wanderers, but they have the best goal difference. Lauren won't be able to keep that in. Now, was that a little pull by Nallis on Lauren? It was outside the box if it was. I think it probably was a free kick, but not a penalty. Nallis, who scored Leicester's official goal of the season, a cracker against Leeds United early on when hopes were rather higher. Jordan Stewart with the free kick for Leicester City. Scowcroft, who's good in the air, was looking to flick it on. Vieira loses out to Stefan Freund, another ex-Spur in the Leicester side today. Stewart. Hit too long, but he'll be one of Leicester's hopefuls as they reshape and look for instant promotion back to the Premiership next season. Be interesting to see whether anybody comes in for Paul Dickoff in the summer. They might. Pires. Nicely measured for Freddie Ljungberg. Lauren. And now Vieira. Gilberto, who scored against Leicester up at the Walker Stadium. and fancied himself to do the same there. But always going over. First goal of the afternoon, Portsmouth 1, Middlesbrough 0. That goal scored by Yakubu at the end of what's been a week of upheaval and turmoil down at Fratton Park, but Harry Redknapp is staying at the end of it all. Frank Sinclair. Campbell playing it long. Complacency might just be a slight problem for Arsenal. They have taken their foot off the gas in recent weeks. They haven't been their stylish, graceful, all-conquering selves, but they've managed to remain unbeaten despite quite a lot of draws of late. Vieira. Bergkamp was looking for a little flick around the corner. McKinley didn't really look where he was putting it, and Cole was able to pick it up. Toure, what a season he's had, playing it to Gilberto. It's another Arsène Wenger success, isn't it? Nobody thought Thierry Henry was a central striker, or that Kolo Toure would be the answer in central defence. Bergkamp towards Ljungberg, one of the youngsters, Matt Heath, getting it away. And he too will be a key figure next season, possibly. Vieira playing the ball effortlessly for Ashley Cole. Bergkamp was trying to find Thierry Henry. There are about 4 players around him. Leicester on 33 points. Last time they were relegated, it was with 28. And somebody worked out that if all Leicester's games had stopped after 80 minutes, they'd have 26 more points. They have thrown away an awful lot of games late on, including one extraordinary match against Wolves, you might remember, when they were 3-0 up at half-time and lost 4-3. 3-1 up at Middlesbrough in stoppage time, drew 3-3. These are vital points they've thrown away. Marcus Bent trying to find a way through. Dangerous player. Just trying a bit too much and muscled out of it. Now here come the counter. It's Thierry Henry. Bergkamp's up there with him, but he won't get that. Henry annoyed with himself. Punched the air in frustration. Hasn't scored, Thierry Henry, in the last 4 matches. And this season he's never gone 5 without a goal, which would worry me if I was a Leicester City fan, I must say. This, by the way, is Arsenal's 13th championship. They're still behind Manchester United, who have 15, and Liverpool with 18. There are no Liverpool titles since 1990, of course. Pires. Vieira. Henry from long range. Plenty of zip on it. But the distance was close to 40 yards. Well, he's already made his place in Arsenal folklore. Arsenal, by the way, need 1 more point to beat their own club record of 87, which was set a couple of years ago when they won the championship. The time before that, they won it with 78 and lost 6 games. That was back in 98, of course, their double year, as was 2002. Bergkamp off towards Ljungberg. Works an angle for a shot. It was the right idea. He He was looking for the far corner, but overcooked it. Just pulled it too far. Only scored 4 in the Premiership, Freddie Ljungberg, this year. He might be a bit disappointed with that return. 10 in all competitions. Stories that he could be sold in the summer, but nothing that's come out of Arsenal, I don't think. Just speculation at the moment. Of course, Robin van Persie, though, has arrived, a wide player, so that would be a threat to Ljungberg's position. Gilberto to Ljungberg. Now Lauren. The big problems Leicester have is getting the ball off Arsenal. They won't mind as long as Arsenal are knocking it around in these areas, but they're condensing the space quite well. Marcus Bent, the striker, is often falling back to make 5 men in midfield. But Arsenal will just keep on probing and retaining possession, and then they'll look for a lightning thrust at some point. Just content to probe and almost mesmerise Leicester into a false sense of security. Here's Henry. They don't want to give him too much room. Vieira. But it breaks down again. Just over 10 minutes gone in the Barclaycard English Premier League. No goals yet. Henry. Oh, Jordan Stewart getting in a bit of a mess there and just recovering in time. And Scowcroft couldn't keep it in play. Bit of a misunderstanding between goalkeeper and defender here. I think he was thinking of passing it back, then he thought, no, I can't do that, can I? Vieira. Cole looking for the fast one-touch football that might unlock Leicester. Pires. Still Pires. "19 goals this season. Great return, isn't it? By Sol Campbell, who has successfully become the new linchpin of that defence in the post-Tony Adams era. Well, it's almost exhibition stuff from Arsenal so far. They're just playing keep ball. But Leicester don't mind. They're being tight and they'll be anxious to not be mauled here in their last game of the season. A lot of people thought they would get out of trouble, Leicester City, because they're a side with a lot of character about them, but it just hasn't happened. They haven't quite been good enough, but they've rarely been really rolled over badly. Save a 5-0 home defeat by Aston Villa. Actually drew with Arsenal up at the Walker Stadium with a last-minute equaliser from Craig Hignett. So far, so good for them. It's a sort of second gear Arsenal so far. Vieira. Now Ljungberg. Lauren. I don't think Thierry Henry is going to score too many headers. Dickov on his own. Needs some support. Well, he's got a bit now. Here's Nallis. Scowcroft can make a run down this left-hand side. Toure, quick, gets across. And the referee says, yeah, that was an infringement. He was going to play on for a moment, but I think he thought, well, the free kick would be better for Arsenal by way of an advantage. Just catches him, Scowcroft, there. is Vieira. Oh, so patient from Arsenal. Henry. He'll want one today to finish off the season. Bergkamp thought about the volley. Another goal down at Fratton Park. Portsmouth 2, Middlesbrough 0. And again, Yakubu has scored. That's 2 for him, this time from the penalty spot. Dickoff, can he get to that one? Leicester just looking for isolated breaks. Bergkamp. I'm sure Leicester were viewing this fixture and their fans, and Mickey Adams here from a long way out, thinking, well, let's hope we don't have to go to Highbury on the last day needing anything. As it's turned out, they'd have probably liked getting this far and still having a chance of staying up. But they are a side that often bounce back. They've been relegated 3 times from the Premiership now and been promoted twice to it. Could happen again. Dickoff tries to spin. Toure. Heath getting it away, the 22-year-old defender. French challenge penalised. Well, it's fun in the sun, this, for the Arsenal fans. They've come in their party gear, dyed hair today, and they're going to stick around to watch Arsenal being presented with the Championship trophy later on. Nothing can stop that happening, but it really would spoil the celebrations big time if Leicester were to somehow win here. Not much sign of it so far. It's Arsenal just probing away without creating very much. It's all hitting a blue wall. Dickoff caught from behind by Sol Campbell. I think Paul Durkin will try on his last day to keep the cards in his pocket. He's known to be among the more lenient refs. That's not because he's not applying the laws, it's just because he uses his common sense and has great authority. Players respect him. Pity he's got to go, really. But the age barrier kicks in. Gilberto's header away, the Brazilian. Here's Vieira. Perez. Frank Sinclair made his debut for Chelsea 13 years ago. It's a lone job up front for Paul Dickoff, one of the players, of course, involved in the sexual assault case in La Manga, which is still to be fully completed. That's something that's hung over Leicester City in recent months. Gilberto to Perez. I wonder if anybody can stop this Arsenal side from retaining the title next year. Perez. Vieira. Scored a fine goal recently, didn't he, at Spurs, Vieira, after a flowing move. Henry, there's that characteristic burst of pace, and Ljungberg on the near post. Best yet from Arsenal. Set up again by Henry, who has loads of assists apart from all the goals. Well defended by Leicester, though. Dabizes getting himself back there, the former Newcastle man. Here's the corner. And he was doing that last week at Fulham. Thierry Henry, he's just lost the knack for the moment, overhitting them by miles. Just needs to reset the old radar a bit. Chelsea 1, Leeds 0. Gronkiar has scored there. Man City 1, Everton 0. That's Paulo Wanchope with the goal. And a reminder that Portsmouth are 2-0 up with 2 Yakubu goals against Middlesbrough. Nil-nil here in the Barclaycard English Premier League between Arsenal and Leicester City. Arsenal unbeaten in league action since the 4th of May last year when Leeds won on this ground. Now then, this might be something different, a free kick, and I would say this is in range for Henry. Who on this green baize of a surface takes a fast bowler's run up and hits it hard, and Walker had to get a little touch on that to prevent it going into the roof of the net for Henry's 30th Premiership goal of the season. He can hit them. As a few goalkeepers will testify. Here comes the corner again, overhit. Bergkamp, days away from his 35th birthday, plays it into Gilberto, who's had to struggle for his place a bit with Edu this season, but Edu's got an eye injury at the moment and is unavailable. This is Perez. Never on, really. I think he was looking for the near post. He needs 1 goal to make it his best ever Premiership return in terms of goals scored. Perez is on 14 in the league, 19 in all. Blackburn 1, Birmingham City 0. That's Andy Cole. Blackburn, who had that flirtation with relegation before pulling away in emphatic style in the closing stages. Dickoff. Leicester not existing as an attacking force. But otherwise, they'll be happy enough with the way things are going. Maybe they'll just grow in confidence a little as this goes on and begin to push forward themselves, though they'll be wary of Arsenal hitting them on the break. Neat footwork by Jordan Stewart, who breaks in behind Lauren here, and the bounce was unkind there. It stopped on him when he would have been looking for a cross. Birmingham-born fullback Jordan Stewart with the throw then for Leicester. Scowcroft wants the free kick and gets it. Now then, can Leicester put a fly in the ointment here by coming up with something? It's just been a bit of an exhibition feel to proceedings so far, but that could all change if Leicester were to sneak a goal. Dickoff to take it, and I think it might have been Vieira who got his head to it into a dangerous area. Sinclair plays it forward. Heath has stayed forward. Scowcroft. Now Nallis. This is a bit better from Leicester. Actually keeping possession in Arsenal's half and with a few men committed forward. Nallis given away. Bergkamp looking for Henry. Not like Dennis Bergkamp at all, who, for my money, produced the pass of the season, Dennis Bergkamp, for that goal by Patrick Vieira at Chelsea. That Absolutely sublime ball. I don't know if you remember it. Well, Arsenal have got just about everything else this season. The most points, the least defeats, 0 of course. The most goals scored, 71. The least conceded, 25. I could go on and on. It's been some year at Highbury, spoiled only by a comparative failure in Europe again. Oh, Vieira, not like him, gave it straight to Freund, who was so surprised he promptly gave Arsenal the ball back. Now then, Henry. Ljungberg does well. Ball was into a good area. Miscue by Dabizas, which almost found the hospitality boxes behind the goal there at the clock end. Corner given away unnecessarily by Leicester City. Pires takes it. Well away by Lilian Nalis. Now Dickov, who's got 10 Premiership goals this season, despite all Leicester's problems. Les Ferdinand is their top scorer in the Premiership with 12. Still waiting to hear whether he'll carry on playing for them next year. Depends on whether he recovers from that knee operation he's had. It's lack of concentration really from Stewart, wasn't it? Very easy for teams coming here in Leicester's position to play with a huge inferiority complex, but they've got a break on here with Frank Sinclair. He's only got Dickov in support. Bent on his outside now is still Frank Sinclair. Can he find Dickov here? Oh yes! There's a story for you. Paul Dickov scores against his old club. He only ever got 3 league goals in 5 years at Arsenal, but he scored here in Leicester's second meaningful attack of the game. Now what have we got here? It was Frank Sinclair who set it up with a good run forward, great ball in, and Dickov does the rest. Could Arsenal come a cropper right at the death in their season? Lehman came, couldn't get there. Good header from Dickov, and a great ball too from Sinclair to set it up. Nothing wrong with that. You couldn't write it, could you? Leicester are 1 up here. And there's a buzz around the ground. Now Arsenal have got to step it up a bit. Maybe they will. It's Pires to Bergkamp. Pires again. Even Ashley Cole's forward. And now Leicester will defend this with their lives. Bet on it. Henry. Suddenly there's a different mood about the place. That set the game up as a spectacle for the neutrals, and it's a nasty jolt to the system of Arsenal. Now they can't coast. Amazing. Just amazing. Well, it's been a traumatic year for Mickey Adams one way and another. But has his season and Arsene Wenger's, come to think of it, got a sting in the tail? I'll say that scoreline again. It's Arsenal 0, Leicester City 1 here. He comes back to bite the hand that once fed him. Never got much of a look in truth, in his Arsenal days, Paul Dickov. And he has grown as a player, no doubt about that, since he's gone away. football, nothing is an absolute formality, which is one of the great beauties of the game. Vieira. Leicester are defending well here, and Heath got a foot in there, and now they've got something really to defend. Leicester fans are really enjoying this now in the corner of the ground. They came here with no expectations, I'm sure. Well, they've been great supporters this season, along with those of Wolves and Portsmouth, the other two promoted clubs, and have really lit up the Premiership. They'll be missed. Now Portsmouth 2, Middlesbrough 1. Zenden getting one back there for Borough. And again a misplaced pass to Frank Sinclair. That's how the goal started. It was just a bit of sloppy play in midfield that gave Leicester possession. And gave Frank Sinclair here the chance to set up that Leicester goal. Sinclair, by the way, making his 400th club career start today. Quarter of an hour to the break. Arsenal 0, Leicester 1. Bergkamp. Now Perez. Well, hit the turf, Perez. One or two controversies involving him this season and diving, notably in the Portsmouth match here. Now here's the Leicester goal again. Is Dickoff offside or is he level? Not much in it. I think that was level, and that's a good goal. Dickoff. Now this time Ashley Cole shuts the door. Yakubu has got a hat-trick for Portsmouth. Portsmouth 3, Middlesbrough 1. And a second goal for Paulo Wanchop. And it's Man City 2, Everton 0. Everton on only 39 points, and really they've been grateful for the failings of others beneath them. Perez. Vieira. Bergkamp took a deflection off Heath, and that took the little sting there was in the shot off it. No problems for Ian Walker. By the way, here's a curious statistic for you. Leicester City have scored more away goals than everybody in the Premiership, except Arsenal and Chelsea, which is really quite amazing considering they've been relegated. That goal Dickoff scored was their 29th away goal of the season. Their problem has been winning at home. Only 3 home wins. That's really cost them. Too many draws, too many late goals conceded. Vieira. Henry can't quite get past Davies. That's the Bergkamp. Couldn't dig it out from under his feet, not effectively anyway. Thought for a moment there Henry was going to work his magic. Bergkamp certainly couldn't. Bergkamp, who was the footballer of the year in the 1998 double year. Of course, Thierry Henry has mopped up the awards again this season for the 2nd year running. Indeed, he's the first player to retain the Football Writers' prestigious Footballer of the Year award, Thierry Henry. Here he is now. On towards Youngberg. Back to Henry again, but Leicester getting a lot of men around the ball, pressing well, and giving a thoroughly good account of themselves. McKinley. is Ashley Cole for Arsenal. The good news for them is that they've still got a bit of this half and the whole of the second half to do something about this scoreline. Pires! Oh! With some zip on it too. Looking for the far corner. This was a bit more like it from Arsenal, who have been in second gear. Scowcroft, who's very, very good in the air. I've noticed that many times. He's got an excellent spring. Certainly has to be watched around goal if there are any aerial chances. Pires. Henry. The aristocrat's feathers have been ruffled. What's the answer? Nothing for the moment, as Dabizas gets in the challenge on Henry. Marcus Bent. Another counter-attack from Leicester. Now Nallis. Stewart. Oh, Lehman didn't seem that too sure of his bearings for a moment there, but it sailed harmlessly enough behind in the end. Wolves 0, Spurs 1. Robbie Keane scored there. Wolves already down, of course. Ljungberg. Crowded out. Well, the facts of the matter are that Arsenal will have to do better. They're getting a bit of a shock here. Leicester haven't come here to lie down, relegated or not. It would be rather nice for them to go down saying they won their last 2 games and they stopped Arsenal going through the season unbeaten. Plenty of football left in this yet, of course. Stewart. Scowcroft. That's a good ball for Dickoff, but he's offside. Flag does go up this time. It was close with the goal. Foul on Bent by Cole. Charlton 1, Southampton 0. That's Jason Yule with the goal for Charlton. He faded a bit late on this season, but still top half. Dickoff again. He looks lively, doesn't he? He's playing more or less on his own up there most of the time, but he's a little terrier. He never gives up any cause. Makes a nuisance of himself. Swaps a bit of banter with the Arsenal fans, most of whom will remember him well. And they might remember him better after today as well. This stays like this. Lehman again came for that and didn't get it, and it fell for Dabizas on the back post, who couldn't do anything with it. Lehman is having a strange afternoon back there. Pires. Now then, Henry. Well, he has gone off the boil a bit, to be honest with you, since Arsenal did win the championship, Thierry Henry. That might be the first word of criticism anybody's ushered about him this season. That's a decent ball in. Nearly fell for Ljungberg afterwards. It has fallen for Lauren. Ljungberg off Scowcroft, out here to Thierry Henry. Deflected behind for a corner. Well, Arsenal mean it now. And I think you can say they've taken the gloves off. but it's a very, very stubborn Leicester City. Pires takes the corner this time. Thierry Henry's lost the job by the look of it after all those overhit ones in recent weeks. Here's Nallis. Pires. Vieira on towards Ljungberg. And again, the Leicester defending. Admirable. Well, that goal has given this game some real edge, and the scoreline will have been flashed all over the country, and everyone will be wondering, is this the day that Arsenal lose that long unbeaten record? Not that time for Henry. Talk about tales of the unexpected. This is not what the Arsenal fans came expecting to see. Gilberto. Pires. Pires again. Oh, and it took a swerve. Walker, great goalkeeping. Saved it twice. It really swerved in the air the first time, which is why he couldn't hold it. But he got there, and he'll hope that Sven-Göran Eriksson was watching this. It was difficult to hold. It's a good save, and even better to get back out and foil the oncoming strikers. Ian Walker, who says he wants to stay at Leicester even though they're going down, which is good loyalty. By the way, Sven-Göran Eriksson won't have seen that save, not yet anyway. He'll have to watch it on video. I'm told he's at Chelsea this afternoon. And they lead Leeds 1-0, by the way. Just to update you with those other scores around the country so far: Charlton 1, Southampton 0, Wolves 0, Spurs 1, Portsmouth 3, Borough 1, a Yakubu hat-trick, Manchester City 2, Everton 0, both for one chop, Chelsea 1, Leeds 0, that's Gronkiar, and Blackburn 1, Birmingham 0, Andy Cole. Let you know about any others that go in. Not going to tell you about the Villa, Manchester United or Liverpool, Newcastle games, because I understand many of you will be watching those games later, so I won't spoil it for you. Vieira to Henry. Oh, he dug out a cross from nowhere. That's difficult for Stewart. And Cole couldn't get hold of it properly. Still hasn't scored in the Premiership this season. And that was a half chance to do so. No, offside against Pires. Look at that, Arsenal have had about 89% of the possession, we reckon, in the last 5 minutes. But possession without goals doesn't count. That was the offside against Pires. Close. Manchester City 3, Everton 0. Nicolas Anelka. Sounds like Everton have got the deck chairs out early, doesn't it? Free kick to Arsenal here. Vieira, the Arsenal skipper. They'll kick themselves if they mess it up with a fixture like this to end up with. But it could happen. Had a lot of the ball, Arsenal, but they've not really created that much if you look back on it. Leicester have defended well, that's Bent, who was caught. Up goes Scowcroft and again wins the ball in the air. So does Bent. And Sol Campbell. So a lot of these players won't be wanting to pick up an injury today, these internationals, with Euro 2004 coming up, and the French boys due to play against Brazil in the FIFA centenary match on Thursday. A lot of frustration in Arsenal's body language at the moment. Vieira. They can't enjoy the sunshine anymore, the Arsenal fans. They're beginning to get a bit worried, but I think they'd always back their side to score. Vieira, Bergkamp has made a little run forward, but Nallis, he and McKinley and Freund doing some really good work in shielding the defence and crowding Arsenal out in that little area where they love to come up with those intricate 1-2s. Stewart to Dickoff. That's a great ball. He's got no support. He's on his own. He needed somebody in the middle. It's going to be 2 minutes of added time at the end of the half. Sinclair down the line to Marcus Bent, and Leicester here knocking the ball about to olays from their supporters in a corner of the ground. That's more like Arsenal, isn't it, than Leicester City. Dickoff on the chase again, and he's giving Sol Campbell an uncomfortable time, and Touré as well. If you wanted one guy to play as a lone striker, maybe Dickoff is your man, because he's going to chase everything. Bolton 0, Fulham 1. The American Brian McBride with the goal. Pires now for Arsenal, in towards Ljungberg. Nallis back defending, having a fine game, the Frenchman in midfield for Leicester. Bergkamp's little layoff. Hit low by Gilberto and blocked again, and here's the break. What if Leicester got a second? Now, when you see Leicester playing like this, it really is a story of what might have been for them this season. They've still got a lot of financial difficulties as well. Remember, they were in administration 18 months ago. And they will have to sell Muzzy, is it? Their star player. But the surprising news here is that Arsene Wenger will have to go and roust up his troops for the second half, because Paul Dickoff, against his old club, has come up with a goal here that threatens to spoil the party. It's Arsenal 0, Leicester City 1. Arsenal getting us underway at the start of the second half here. And Leicester haven't beaten Arsenal since a 2-1 win at Filbert Street 10 years ago, when David Lowe and Ian Ormondroyd got the goals. And Arsenal were in 11th place then. This is a very different Arsenal. Dickoff the goal scorer. Jordan Stewart. Dickoff offered one to chase, he never minds that. Pires. Have Leicester got the belief to hold on to this? They must have got to the dressing room at half-time and just began pinching themselves a little to remind themselves that this really is happening. Bergkamp. Oh, it's actually goal! Great chance! Is that a penalty kick? Yes, says Paul Durkin. Lifeline for Arsenal. Frank Sinclair, who set up the Leicester goal, is blamed for this. Now, well, he didn't win the ball, did he? He tried to win the ball, but he didn't. He took Cole's legs out. Yep, that's a stone wall penalty, which will be taken by Thierry Henry. Is this his 30th Premiership goal of the season? He hasn't scored in it. Thierry Henry with his 39th goal of the season and his 30th in the Premiership. The runaway winner of the Golden Boot. He was never going to mess that one up. No doubts about the penalty, I don't think. So once again, Arsenal are within touching distance of history, some might say immortality in football terms anyway. If they discover the secret to true immortality, they might give us a clue about what that is sometime. Vieira. And that's just what Leicester didn't want, of course. And he wanted the game to settle again, but right from the restart, Arsenal are level. Vieira. They were under a bit of a threat at Portsmouth as well. You might remember recently when they were a goal down at half-time, but got the equaliser then as well. Business as usual. Bergkamp. Henry. Still got it, almost by osmosis it seemed. But Leicester quarry back possession in the end. Scowcroft, the former Ipswich player, usually plays wide on the right, deployed wide on the left today by Leicester. Teams usually have to come up with something a little different strategically when they come to Highbury. And usually it involves trying to crowd out Arsenal in these kind of areas. Dummy by Henry. Trouble was Bergkamp bought it as well. Simply unbeatable. Maybe they are. Difficult. And that will be a Leicester City corner off Touré's head. Trouble is, Paul Dickov hasn't read the script here. Worth remembering that Leicester do have their own agenda. Their fans were cheering the fact that Wolves were behind at half-time. They do want to finish 18th. It's worth £1 million more to the club than bottom place. In by Jordan Stewart. Leeds were losing at half-time as well. So if things stayed like they were, Leicester would be 18th. I know it's a scant consolation. They're going down anyway. But the money's important to the club. The players are on to that theme as well. Stewart goes for a different one this time. Lehmann, this time, a bit more authoritative with his goalkeeping. He's only had to do a couple of things, Jens Lehmann, and one of them was pick the ball out the back of the net. Bergkamp. Oh, lovely ball to Henry, who nearly picks up Ljungberg. It was almost a picture goal, but great credit to Stefan Freund for getting back there to defend. And here he is again now. Arsenal were denied there by a former Spurs man. Lovely move. Gilberto to Touré. They get another one, I think Arsenal really can relax. Because I think Leicester can pinch one more, possibly, but it would be a big surprise if they were to somehow get two more, because they're on the back foot most of the way. Oh, look at that, Pires to Cole. He's still come out with it the other side. It's Cole, stands it up brilliantly to Ljungberg, who couldn't quite grow to head it home on the far post, and in any way had done a spot of pushing along the way. But look at this nutmeg from Pires, and then Cole. This is a great bit of work, the way that he stands the ball up like that. And they've just moved through the gears a little in the second half here. Dickoff sampling relegation for the second time. Paul Dickoff. Toure protests. Leicester have the free kick, and Paul Durkin saying, "You want to get on with it? Get on with it." While Arsenal protest, they don't. It's the blue-booted Marcus Bent who's going to try and bend one here. Bent. Deflection off the wall to Freud. Getting the treatment from the Arsenal fans. He'd expect that, of course, as an ex-Tottenham man. He still hasn't scored in English League football after some 6 years. Matt Heath's come forward from the back. Got a lot of players in there, Leicester City. Dickoff to take here. Scowcroft was in there. There was a foul. And Arsenal want to take it straight away. Pires won't get that. McKinley, the 35-year-old midfield man, fighting him with a challenge, but Henry's kept it in. Now Gilberto. I think Arsene Wenger has said to his Arsenal players, come on, 45 minutes left in the season. Let's really turn it on in the way we can. They've woken up, Arsenal. Gilberto, well blocked by McKinley. I'll keep you up to date with any goals elsewhere, by the way. Nothing so far in the second half. Here's Pires. Now Vieira, Bergkamp. It's lovely stuff there on the edge of the box. Mesmerising, hypnotic football from Arsenal. And it's a good old Anglo-Scottish battle between Dickoff and Campbell. Did well. Still got it somehow. Now Arsenal get a foot in. Here's Gilberto winning his first championship medal with Arsenal this season. Pires has won a couple now. Ditto Henry. Looked for that free kick against Sinclair. He ran into his leg a bit and got the free kick. And Henry, from this kind of angle with the right foot, spells menace. Takes it quickly. Difficult bounce that for Walker, who watched it well. Get out, he says to his defenders. Charlton 2, Southampton 0. Latest score, Carlton Cole's got that one. And Spurs have gone 2 up now at Wolves. Jermaine Defoe is coming with a possible late run to be included in the England squad. Now then, Bergkamp. Ljungberg. Good goalkeeping. Ian Walker again. Corner. Lovely play, wasn't it, by Bergkamp? And he plays it in again, and Toure with the header. And he's been one of the players of the season, no doubt about it. And by the way, 6 of this Arsenal team voted in the PFA Premier League Team of the Year. Lauren, Ashley Cole, Sol Campbell, Patrick Vieira, Robert Pires, and of course Thierry Henry. The others were Tim Howard of Manchester United, John Terry Chelsea, Frank Lampard Chelsea, Steven Gerrard and Ruud van Nistelrooy. Dickoff nearly set up for the shot. Cole got a foot in. Then Nallis's header. Here's Jamie Scowcroft. Jordan Stewart up to Dickoff, who shows himself well. Doesn't he get through some work, Dickoff? Scored a good goal last week against Portsmouth and another one today too. Now then, Sinclair. Dickoff was attacking it again and Toure was there. Ljungberg. Pires. Ljungberg again. Leicester, by the way, keeping up their record as the side who've given away a lead more times than any other in the Premiership. It's happened again today. Bergkamp. New spring in his step in this second half. I reckon they had a bit of a rocket from Arsene Wenger at half-time. Champions or not. Heath got it away, the lanky central defender. Lovely football. Bergkamp. Pires! Wonderful challenge by Davizas. Then another shot from Ljungberg is blocked. But Arsenal are threatening a second. They've turned up the turbos. Manchester City 3, Everton 1. Kevin Campbell getting a goal back for Everton there. Ljungberg. Lauren, Cameroon international, of course. Gilberto up towards Bergkamp. No doubt that Arsenal were stunned by the events of the half. Freud trying to feed Dickoff again. For my money, Leicester have played very well here. If they played like this all season, they might not be making a return to the Nationwide League. It's 1-1 still. It's Henry. It's still Henry. Couldn't quite work it. Nallis, a bit careless from him. Lauren. Bergkamp pulling into some wide positions. Better movement from Arsenal now. And getting a bit of width into their play as well. Difficult bounce for everybody, apparently. Even Pires fell over at the end of it. Well played by Jordan Stewart, part of the new breed at Leicester, along with people like Peter Canero, who's injured for this game, and Matt Heath, who's playing, and Lee Morris as well. Players like that will be important to the future of Leicester City, and they'll be encouraged that teams who have gone down have made a pretty strong showing the next season in the First Division. Sunderland and West Ham both involved in the playoffs. Reminder that we'll be joined by Norwich City and West Bromwich Albion from Division 1. Congratulations to them. Sinclair in towards Ben. Nallis is in there for Leicester City. Campbell gets it away. Leicester fans thought they saw a hand in there somewhere, but nobody else in the ground did. Certainly none of the Leicester players were protesting about anything. Offside. Well, Leicester have taken some thumpings here in recent times, even when Martin O'Neill. Now, was that a handball? Let's have a look at that again. Well, it hits Gilberto's hand, didn't it? Was that intentional? His hand was up. That's what Paul Dickoff's saying to the referee. None of the Leicester players strangely protested at the time. Paul Durkin doesn't give that to Leicester. That might have been given. McKinley. Fouled by Bergkamp. Willie McKinley, who started his career 18 years ago at Dundee United. Still going strong. And playing in the Premiership. McKinley's chip was meant for Dickoff, who'd made a run towards that side, but not accurate enough. Still Bolton 0, Fulham 1, Charlton 2, Southampton 0, Wolves 0, Spurs 2, Portsmouth 3, Middlesbrough 1, Manchester City 3, Everton 1, Chelsea 1, Leeds 0, and Blackburn 1, Birmingham 0. There have been goals in the Villa, Manchester United and Liverpool Newcastle games, but I'm not going to give you the score because I know a lot of you will be catching up with those games later on. Vieira. And all the time it's 1-1 here. Arsenal, I'm sure, will be thinking, well, if we get hit by another sucker punch, we might have very little time to respond, so let's kill this thing off. Leicester do get a free kick. And they're prepared to push plenty of players forward. Nikos Dabazas, the Greek international, is in there. Easy for Lehmann, who looks to launch Thierry Henry on a solo counter raid here. And Jordan Stewart did well. Henry wide for Ljungberg. Lovely bit of play by him. Heath got it away. Now it's Lauren. Vieira. Bergkamp. Arsenal looking to invent something again around the edge of the box. They've done just that. It's Vieira. Oh, it's a picture goal to put Arsenal in front. That's why they're the champions. That was brilliant. That was a glimpse of the football which has graced this entire season from a magnificent side. A lovely bit of play. Bergkamp, look at the ball he invents. To Vieira, terrific run, finishes it off. Wow. Did I say that Bergkamp's ball to Vieira at Chelsea was the pass of the season? That wasn't far behind, was it? Oh, that's just glorious. There's nothing you can do about that kind of thing. Third goal of the season, that, for Patrick Vieira. And his first here at Highbury. The others were at Chelsea and Spurs, you might recall. Dickoff can't keep it in. Of course, there's another thing here, isn't there? Although Arsenal are planning a substitution, Adu, I think, is going to come on. And Bergkamp's picked up a knock, meanwhile. Now it's Henry. Arsenal look as if they intend to finish this season in the style that has given them the title, with something to spare. In fact, if they do win, it'll be the widest winning margin in Premiership history. Pires. Well, they had a problem at half-time, but they found the answers. That was careless, though, by Lauren. The ball was given away. Jordan Stewart. Can Leicester do something about this? How are they going to play it now? The trouble with trying to get at Arsenal too much is if you leave them room to attack you, they can destroy you. Charlton 2, Southampton 1. David Prutton scored for Southampton there, as Adu prepares to make his entrance after his eye problems recently. Bent was being held, wasn't he? Fairly cynically, in fact, by Lauren, who was doing it right under the referee's nose and hoping he wouldn't do anything about it. It's going to be Robert Pires who comes off to a standing ovation after a season that's provided 19 goals. What a signing he's been. Another former footballer of the year, of course. And Adu is there alongside his fellow Brazilian Gilberto, now in the midfield. Paul Ince has been sent off in the Wolves game against Spurs. They're already 2 down in that one, Wolves, remember. Too late to really matter for Wolves now. Henry. Well, he must have been wondering at half-time, Arsene Wenger, but I'm sure he believed his side would come back, and indeed they have. Scowcroft. Here's Ljungberg. Yes, it'll be interesting next season to see how hard Chelsea might push Arsenal under whoever's in charge at Chelsea. It doesn't look as if it'll be Mr. Ranieri, does it? Not from everything we're hearing. Is there going to be a Manchester United revival? Can Newcastle or Liverpool close the gap? Answers coming up in about, well, it's only 3 months' time, isn't it? Players with 1 or 2 tired legs, but most of them, or a lot of them here, will be heading off for Euro 2004. That's a foul by Dickoff on Cole. I think you got the general idea that he didn't really agree with it, and Paul Durkin is telling him, look, just calm down. Here's Martin Keown, who has to appear in this game to make it 10 appearances. That's the least number you can make and still get a championship medal. He's on 9 at the moment. Don't worry, Arsene Wenger's in on the block. Bergkamp, Henry. It's quite interesting with that Keown situation. Of course, if Arsenal had carried on in the situation where they were behind in the game, it would be possible that Arsene Wenger felt he was unable to make that change just for the sake of it. But with an advantage, I think, as long as it stays like this, Keown will come on, probably about the 88th minute. And maybe on the right wing. That's where we've seen him in recent games. Could be on his way in the summer. There are stories linking him with other clubs around the Premiership. Portsmouth, certainly one of them. Lauren. Now Ljungberg picks up Gilberto's run. The springer from midfield. That's how they did it with that Vieira goal. It was like, what a goal that was. I'm still drooling about it. With apologies to the Leicester City fans who had to suffer that, but I think any side would have been taken apart by that move. Bergkamp. Now they're beginning to turn on 1 or 2 of the party tricks now, Arsenal. This is the best they've played in a few weeks since they actually won the title. Since half-time, I mean. Here's Ljungberg. Oh, very cool from Frank Sinclair, who gave away the penalty. He's had quite a 400th career start here, hasn't he? Sinclair setting up a goal, giving away a penalty. And he, I seem to remember giving away a last-minute own goal on this ground that cost Leicester a point a few years back as well. Anyone for head tennis? I think that's deuce, isn't it? Leicester are going to make a substitution. They're going to bring on young Paul Brooker, a right-sided midfield player, in place of Stefan Freund, we understand. So Freund makes his exit. I wonder if he'll be around at Leicester next season. Could be very much all change. Now they've moved Scowcroft to the right and Bent to the left of midfield by the look of things now, Leicester, and they're putting Brooker on to play just behind Dickoff. Shake of the hands between Billy McKinley and Patrick Vieira. Bergkamp for the champions. Oh, Vieira, casual, very casual. And here's Brooker's first involvement. Dickoff turns, goes down. Now Leicester did come back in the last minute to grab an equaliser at Charlton recently. It was the day they were sent down mathematically to. Bent seemed to lose his bearings, and it was just a bit behind him, to be fair. This is interesting. They're going to change their goalkeeper here, Leicester City, and bring on Danny Coyne, the experienced keeper, to replace Ian Walker. I don't know if Ian Walker's picked up a knock. So I don't know whether that's something Mickey Adams is doing just to give Coyne a little bit of a run out. Coyne did play away to Bolton back in December, and a sub appearance as well against Birmingham. But other than that, it's been Walker all the way. That's it, come out to face the Arsenal shooting gallery. It's just what a keeper wants, isn't it, coming on as sub to face Thierry Henry and the rest. Well, he looks like he's up for it anyway. Lauren. The change, we're told, intriguingly, was tactical of the goalkeeper. I don't believe that one. Here's Henry. I think they just wanted to give Danny Coyne a bit of a game in the Premiership before they go back to Division 1. Ljungberg. Lauren to Bergkamp. Stern John with an equaliser for Birmingham. Blackburn 1, Birmingham 1 it is now in that one. Brian McBride scored a second goal for Fulham at Bolton. They lead 2-0 there. Meanwhile, Henry. Ljungberg. Bergkamp. Comes out to Vieira. Not often he gets two in a game. He was looking for it there, though. Arsenal 2-1 to the good, and now looking very good indeed to make it a whole season unbeaten. Aidoo's corner kick, well claimed by Coyne, good first touch for him. And he's set Brooker away here. Dickoff was miles and miles away, and the youngster lost out. Dickoff was about 70 yards away on the far side of the pitch, hoping for what would have been a great crossfield ball, but it was never going to happen. Arsenal will bring on Reyes. How long before Keown comes on? There'll be a huge, huge cheer when that happens, as it surely will. One in the air by Scowcroft, not for the first time. Gilberto for Arsenal. Vieira, scorer of that magnificent second goal. won this championship with such grace and elegance and style. And they've put their disciplinary house in order too after the disgraceful scenes up at Old Trafford early in the season, when a few of their players were hit with fines and bans. They've just carried on doing what they're very good at, and that happens to be playing football with real élan. Portsmouth 5, Middlesbrough 1. Teddy Sheringham on his farewell appearance has scored that, and Yakubu has got a 4th goal. And Portsmouth running riot in that one. They've had an excellent season. Off comes Bergkamp to be replaced by Jose Antonio Reyes. Of course, that's not the last Arsenal we'll be seeing of Dennis Bergkamp. He'll be back next season. Reyes, who's scored in the last 2 league games, comes on. Some of these fans now have got shirts saying Reyes Matez on the back. You know, Razzmatazz, Reyes Matez. He's already a favourite, and he might become more of one. He's still learning how to play with this side. Exciting young Spaniard. First Spaniard to win a championship in England, by the way. Here he is now, Reyes. Not what he meant, but it worked anyway. Reyes. Vieira. Cut out by Dabizas. For an honest, workmanlike Leicester City, who've put up a really good effort here. But in the second half, Arsenal have just made their class tell. And when they slip into this kind of mood, there are very, very few teams who can cope with them. Reyes, lovely angle. Ljungberg! Oh, that would have been a terrific goal as well. Well saved by Coyne. But again, it was scintillating football in the build-up. Sometimes they just see angles that other sides don't appreciate. Ljungberg denied by Coyne. Vieira. Can they add a third for good measure? Henry invents a little ball. Toure! Denied by Coyne. Reyes couldn't finish it. Adu Mate! And a wonderful block by Dabizas. Great defending from Leicester. Now Henry. It's a bit too long for Freddie Ljungberg. Did he handle that? No, says the referee. That is handball, surely. Paul Durkins just play on because Leicester have possession. Here comes that substitution. Martin Keown is going to come on, and Leicester City withdraw Paul Dickoff, who's got a goal on his old stamping ground. Trevor Benjamin to replace him. So that's all the substitutes used up by Leicester City. The electric clock on the far side from me says we have 4.5 minutes remaining. Arsenal 2, Leicester 1 in the Barclaycard English Premier League on this gloriously sunny afternoon here in North London. And sunshine infiltrating into the lives of Arsenal Football Club all season. Reyes, oh dear, just made a present of that to Sinclair. You are watching the final scenes here of a season that Arsenal Football Club will never forget. Keown still waits. Just as well they've got an electric clock and a stopwatch, as Brooker plays that one in. Benjamin was waiting behind. But the big picture here is that Leicester now need 2 goals to stop Arsenal going through the season unbeaten. Now then, listen to this. A standing ovation for Martin Keown as he comes forward to make sure he collects another championship medal. His 332nd league appearance for Arsenal, maybe his last, but the fact that he's on the pitch means that he will get the medal. Arsene Wenger so keen to stress it is a squad game, and he's looked after Keown handsomely in recent weeks in that regard to make sure he's got the medal. Reyes, fouled from behind by McKinley. And it all starts again, ladies and gentlemen, in 3 months' time, when Arsenal will be hot favourites to retain the crown. Do they need to buy anybody? Henry, good tackle that from Sinclair. Henry's still down on the floor. Not injured, I hasten to add, just contemplating life, which must seem pretty good at the moment. Antoine Sibierski scored for Manchester City, who now lead Everton 4-1. So a good finish to the season for Manchester City, but it's been a difficult old campaign. Good turn by Bent, dispossessed by Ashley Cole. Crowd is over 38,500. That makes it over 1 million for the season here, and of course many more will be able to watch Arsenal at home when they make their move to Ashburton Grove, to their posh new home in a few seasons' time. Scowcroft took that early. It's a classy bit of work from him. Keown, his first touch, cheered all round the ground. Oh, just offside, and it must have been close, that. Henry. Otherwise he was through. Yeah, there's a bit of a party feel. Even the referee's assistants have got a smile on their face now. The last few moments of this Premiership season. A historic one for Arsenal. Will we ever see this again? Campbell gets it away. Yeah, Sean Wright-Phillips has scored for Manchester City. They now lead Everton 5-1. So that's Portsmouth 5-1 up on Middlesbrough. Manchester City 5-1 up on Everton, 2 of the relegation candidates a few weeks ago. Rattling in 5 on the last day. 2 minutes to be added on. 2 minutes away. Look at Pat Rice there beside Arsene Wenger. Part of Arsenal's double winning side of 1971, of course. They don't want it to end, I don't think, the Arsenal fans. Nallis. Reyes. Clever. Takes on McKinley. Henry. Reyes again. That's probably going to be the number 1 strike partnership next season, isn't it? Henry and Reyes. Well, I don't really know, do I? I'm trying to pick Arsene Wenger's side for him. He seems pretty capable of doing it himself, you might have gathered. Henry back to form in this second half. This is the Thierry Henry we've been used to seeing. He's just taken a week or two off, really, mentally, I think, lately, but in this second half it's been just wonderful. And here he is at right back, Thierry Henry. Seen it all now. Whistle's going to go soon. The most glorious season that any Arsenal fan, I'm sure, can remember. They are unbeaten. Hail the history men. Not one side could defeat them in 38 games in this league. As long as football is played in England, they will remember what Arsenal have done this campaign. There is no overstating the size of the achievement. Arsenal, the 13 times champions. Remember, not since the £3 a week part-timers of Preston North